You're listening to the Around the Huddle podcast, powered by PAC-Hub. Around the Huddle, college sports beyond the game.
Hello and welcome in to episode number 22 of the Around the Huddle podcast, where we talk about all things college sports beyond the game. I'm your host, John Gross. Happy to have you with us. College sports season is just around the corner. Today we are talking about my favorite sport. In fact, I love it so much, it is literally on my shirt today, college football. It is the best. Season starts in less than a month, and we are going to be talking about one of the hot button issues related to college football, to expand or not to expand the college football playoff. But before we get to that topic and our fantastic guest today, a reminder that we are powered by PAC-Hub. Take a look, bottom of your screen, pac-hub.com, connecting athletes with opportunities. If you are a student athlete and you're looking for a new home, or if you are a coach and you are looking for that missing piece to make your team a championship level team, PAC-Hub is the place to go. By joining PAC-Hub as an athlete, when you enter the NCAA portal, you can also sign up for PAC-Hub. In PAC-Hub, it populates with stats, measurables, all sorts of tidbits of information that allow coaches to search for you. And then from the coach's perspective, if you want a right-handed pitcher, if you want somebody who is a freshman, you can search by eligibility, by academic information, by statistics. All sorts of specifications are available. Beyond the transfer portal aspect of PAC-Hub, you can check out NIL resources, a lot of awesome information about the ever-changing landscape of college sports. Really, this podcast, a great supplement to the resources that you can find on that website. And on that note, on the topic of PAC-Hub, big shout out to PAC-Hub CEO, founder, president, all the above, the one and only Kevin Hinchy. Kevin is the owner of the Saugerty Stallions of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, who recently won their second ever PGCBL championship. So congratulations to Kevin. Congrats to head coach Colin Martin, who was one of the first guests that we had on the show, on bringing home trophy number 2 to Saugerties, New York. And a reminder to like, subscribe, and comment to our channel. Subscribe to our channel, like and comment on our videos. By subscribing to our channel, you get notified every time that we post new content. By liking and commenting, it helps us with engagement, helps us promote the show, and get more awesome guests like we have today. So with that, let's bring on our guest today. Again, talking college football playoff expansion, the history, what his takes are, the controversy going on. He is a Locked On Podcast Network host talking about college football. He is also the play-by-play voice of Southern Utah. Please welcome the one and only Spencer McLaughlin. Spencer, thanks for hopping on today.
Hey, my pleasure. Great to be on with you, John.
I have to say, we are making history today. You are the first guest from the Pacific time zone.
Woo!
Yeah.
You caught me the right time of year. I actually live in the mountain time zone like 9 months out of the year in Utah, but I summer in Oregon, so I am indeed in Oregon as we tape this show. So love representing the best time zone to watch sports in.
Really, I've heard Midwest. People say Midwest.
So because the Midwest goes into Central Time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday Night Football starts at 7:20. Gross, absolutely gross.
What about a noon college football kickoff, 9 a.m. on a Saturday? I don't know if you have a fun Friday night.
Look, I'm not opposed to the mountain time. Like I do enjoy it out in Utah. A 10 a.m. for college football, just an extra hour to get things going in the morning and such. But the reason that the Pacific is the best is from 9 a.m. until about 9 p.m. at night. You can have football on with Pac-12 After Dark too. RIP, but not really because it's coming back. But like you can go 9 a.m. to midnight basically. Whereas, late night Pac-12 games forever have kicked off at like 10 p.m. Eastern time, and gross. That's gross. And I got a Seattle Mariners shirt on today. This is a little faded, but you can see that says Mariners. The 7:10 first pitch on the West Coast is 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Sorry, West Coast, Best Coast. Anyway, I plug that every chance I get.
I won't disagree with that. I think you have me convinced. So
good.
Good stuff.
Good. Easy sell.
Yes. All right, so we are talking college football playoff expansion. For those who may not be aware, we'll give a little bit of the history here. The college football playoff was just expanded. Last season was the first year it was a 12-team playoff. There won't be any major changes to the playoff for this coming year, although the biggest one being the seeding adjustment, which I think most people can agree on. Last year, the top 4 highest-ranked conference champions were the top 4 seeds. Now it's just straight up rankings. So the 4 best teams will be the top 4 teams, which to me makes complete sense. Otherwise, it's all the same. But there's a lot of talk. Should the playoff go to 14 teams? Should it go to 16 teams? And what will that look like? But let's go back a step here, Spencer. College football for so long never had a playoff. 2014 was the first year of a 4-team playoff. Went to 12 last year. Why did college football need to create a playoff after over 100-something years without having one?
It didn't need to. It just decided to. So the straight seeding, I wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
That's not a small change, for schools like Oregon, who I'm a fan of. That would have been an incredibly beneficial arrangement last year to have a straight seeding as opposed to the herky-jerky nonsense that the committee had. That it was so weird and so dumb they changed it after 1 year is emblematic of how weird and dumb it was. We are all looking at this going, this makes no sense. Why would you do that? Why would you have this? Then they watched it play out and went, yeah, that made no sense. If we think this team is better and more deserving than that team over there, why would they be ranked lower? That never made any sense in the world. So straight seeding is a good thing for the college football playoff, to be sure. I think is a pretty slightly above average size change. We'll call it. But
right.
The thing with the playoff and why people thought they needed to expand it is because it was too exclusive. That carries a worldview that's different than my own when it comes to what I describe on my show every day. Locked On College Football is the greatest sport on planet Earth because it is. I'm someone who has always put a tremendous amount of value on the college football regular season. And that's always been the single greatest regular season sport of anything. Better than the NFL, better than college basketball, better than the NBA, better than everyone, because there was so much on the line every single week. The more you expand the playoff, the more leeway you give teams in the regular season. Now, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that more than 2 should have a chance to play for a national championship each year, because I do think when you look at the sport, there were consistently more than 2 teams that were both capable and deserving, which if I were a committee member, the criteria I would want to use, like if I were a member of the playoff committee, I would look at 2 things. How deserving are you based on the results that have actually happened on the field? And how good of a team do I actually think you are based on what we've seen from you throughout the year? So last year, for example, Indiana, I would put both those baskets on a scale of 1 to 10, and I would give a 1 to 10 for each side, and then the teams that get the highest scores would then be my playoff teams. Indiana last year, on best team in college football after going up against Ohio State and losing. It was a decently competitive game, but you could tell Ohio State was sizably better. I'd probably give them a 5-ish, 5 or 6 on you're one of the best teams in college football, but I'd give you a 9 on you're one of the most deserving. And so their total team score would be 15. Now, that probably would get you into the playoff in my hypothetical here. But the combination of best and most deserving is what I want to see in the playoff, because that maintains the urgency on regular season games. And so I want those games to mean something. What I hate about the expanded playoff, I think it's already too big. It never should have gone beyond 6, never needed to go beyond 6. I do think you can readily make the case back when it was 2, there are 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams that could easily win the national championship and have had the caliber of season that should be rewarded with that. I can get behind that. But I thought the 14 playoff was perfectly fine. The only time that I ever thought, wow, maybe this needs to go to 6 is the last year of the 14 playoff, actually, where Georgia went 12-0 in the SEC, made the SEC title game, lost to Bama, and was left out of the playoff. Now, I supported them being left out of the playoff because Texas had the head-to-head with Bama. That has to matter. Bama has the head-to-head with Georgia. Washington and Michigan were undefeated. So I thought the correct 4 teams got in, but 2023 was the first time I ever thought, okay, you have a team that is capable and deserving of winning a national championship. Like, they would have been, on my scale, probably 18 or 19 points out of 20. They were capable and deserving of winning a national championship, and they don't have the opportunity to do so. Now, on the one hand, I say, well, that keeps urgency on the regular season and conference championship games. On the other hand, they went 12-0 in the SEC and didn't get to go play for a championship. I don't think that was necessarily. So that's the first time I ever thought, maybe you need to go beyond 4. But the reason that people thought, well, we need to go beyond 4 is because of dumb narratives and money. Those are the biggest reasons why the playoff expanded. Is there's a lot more money in it because you can create more television revenue and you get teams into the playoff and the payouts go to the conferences, and that's all just plain and obvious and right there in the open, because you didn't need an expanded playoff to give more teams a chance to win a national championship. That is a complete load of crap. Complete and total load of crap, which I could go into in more detail if you want. But, you look at last year, all you really did is you gave a team in Ohio State that suffered a generational upset at home, and it didn't matter. Did not mean a single thing for their national championship hopes. I think that sucks for college football, but that's the world we've got.
I'm with you. 6 teams. That's the number that I've always keyed in on. I felt that 4 wasn't enough. 8 and 12 and 14 and 16, too many. I've never felt that there has been more than 5 or 6 teams capable and deserving of a shot at a national title in any given season. So,
and we forget that every offseason when these conversations roll around, John, we forget that. We forget that at the end of every year, we go into the playoff knowing, oh, okay, we know who the real teams actually are. We know who's actually good. Not because we're biased, not because we are, supposing things, but because we've watched actual results play out on the field. And so Ohio State last year, again, going back to my hypothetical committee membership that I've given myself, on a best scale, they would have been probably, with that loss to Michigan, I would have put them probably at about an 8. On the most deserving scale, they would have been down at a 5 because they lost the second game. They were a 22.5-point home favorite against the Michigan team that couldn't throw a forward pass, and they lost. But it didn't matter. And I think that sucks for college football. But that's what we're going to keep having going forward. I'll give you a hypothetical for this year that's 100% real. Alabama is, just like Ohio State, 10-1 going into the Iron Bowl. That Iron Bowl is being played at Jordan-Hare this year. Let's say Auburn, who's not that good, pulls a stunning upset. We've seen it before. We almost saw it 2 years ago with the 4th 31 miracle to Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone. Insane, right? That game. Let's just look at that game. In a 12 or 14 or 16 team playoff, Alabama, who was 10-1 at that point, if Auburn doesn't give up that 4th 31, it doesn't affect Alabama's playoff chances one bit. It doesn't change it. It affects their seeding. Okay, whatever. They're in the playoff. Ohio State just showed you what you can do when you're a good enough team that stumbles, but you just get a chance to go into the playoff. Anyway, that's why I hate it.
No, look, I am 100% with you. You also brought up a good point about the financial factor of it. For those who want to learn more on the impact of TV money and how that impacts all things college athletics, take a look at our episode from a couple of weeks ago with Armand Brody, an expert on sports media and revenue deals. We dove deep into that discussion.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm one of the PAC-Hub's AI specialists. Today, I want to show you why PAC-Hub is the ultimate platform for college baseball players looking to transfer to a new college program. First, let's take a look at our extensive network of coaches. With over 150 coaches actively using our system, you have a huge pool of experts to connect with. Imagine having access to all these experienced coaches searching for talent like yours. You even have the ability to connect with any of these coaches via our internal messaging system. This means more opportunities to showcase your skills and find the perfect new team. Now let's switch gears and see things from a coach's perspective. Coaches can easily search for athletes by position or stat. Let's say I'm looking for a left-handed pitcher with good pitching stats. With just a few clicks, I can find top-performing pitchers who meet my criteria. This efficient search functionality ensures that coaches find the perfect fit for their teams and athletes get matched with opportunities that suit their strengths. PAC-Hub is all about connecting talent with opportunity. Whether you're an athlete looking to transfer to a new college team or a coach searching for the next star player, PAC-Hub has the tools you need to succeed. Don't miss out on the chance to be part of this amazing community. Join PAC-Hub today and take the next step in your baseball journey. Visit www.pac-hub.com to sign up now.
Let's dive into the actual proposals that we have heard about when it comes to proposed college football playoff expansion. The two main ones being, number one, we'll start with the numbers, primarily the 16-team playoff. Number one is the 5+11 plan. So the 5 highest ranked conference champions get an automatic bid, plus 11 at-large teams. Then there is the Big Ten plan, which is known as the Big Ten plan because, to my knowledge, the only conference which supports that plan is the Big Ten Conference. It guarantees the Big Ten gets 4 spots, the SEC gets 4 spots, the Big 12 gets 2 spots, the ACC gets 2 spots. One ranked group of 5 champion, the highest ranked one, gets in, and then 3 at-larges. No other conferences support that. I'm just curious what your takes are on those proposals.
Well, the Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark came out and supported it a while back. I like 5+11 the most. I don't like any of them, just to be clear. But if I have to pick amongst those crappy options, yeah, I'll go 5+11, just because you keep some power in the hands of the committee and therefore an element of mystery that I think maintains urgency on regular season games. You know, I talked with Josh Pate about this not long ago, and he's not a fan of the 5+11 at all. And his point is, I don't want Tennessee to, be 9-1 coming down the stretch and know they can lose their last 2 games of the season and 8-1 and then lose 2 of their final 3, because you have the SEC late season cupcake in there, of course. And I don't want them to be able to lose 2 of those 3 games and still get in. And my point would be, well, I don't know that you can guarantee that they can.
I agree.
Because there isn't an automatic berth to it. You put it in the hands of the committee. Now, I think 10-2 Big Ten or SEC is going to get in just about every time. We know that's not true for the ACC or the Big 12. And so I get the argument that people make, but the problem I have with automatic qualifiers, John, is that you take quality non-conference games and you don't trim them down to a tree stump. You uproot their importance, you tear it out, and you replace the topsoil. Like, you get rid of them. If you go and lose, you could go 0-3 in your non-conference slate and get an automatic berth to the college football playoff. That's what could happen. There's no hypothetical you have to or there's no workaround for any. No. That's what it is. Because if you finish, and then it's just all about conference play. Then it's like, well, why do we play non-conference games? Well, you might get, I hear this a lot. Well, you'll get teams to actually schedule more non-conference games. Yeah, because they won't mean they won't mean diddly squat.
Right.
They won't mean anything. It's like you go out, you win. Okay, maybe you can get a better seed once you get an automatic berth. But all that matters is getting in over there. Like, I think that stinks. It's different than college basketball, where getting a higher seed has such an advantage, particularly in the first round. Those non-conference games early in college basketball, which has scheduling figured out way better than college football does, those do come back to help you a good amount, like more than what you have in college football, because the tournament's bigger. The difference between being a 5 seed and being a 3 seed, mathematically, your chance to lose in the first round, night and day. It is completely not. How often does a 14 seed win? How often does a 12 seed win? Okay? And those good non-conference matchups can be the difference makers there. So, for college football, I just don't. I don't like any. Like, keep it at 12. I hope that the Big Ten wants the SEC to go to 9 conference games, and the SEC is saying, maybe, but probably not. Which the Big Ten's saying, fine, we'll just keep it here. To which I say, fine, don't ever expand the playoff again.
And that's what will happen if we remain at this impasse where the Big Ten is staunchly in one camp and the SEC and most other conferences are in the other camp. We're going to touch in a minute on the Big Ten SEC battle and kind of that power balance in college football. But I just find it so disheartening in many ways that this great sport that we both love has been so watered down to just financials and dollars and cents. And it makes me concerned for the fans who love this sport like we do. And maybe this sport it has changed so drastically already and will continue to change so drastically. So I want to propose this to you, this question for you. Is there a direct conflict between fan interest and financial interests, or is it possible for those two things to line up?
I'm trying to think of one where they do line up. I mean, that depends. It depends on your fan perspective. If you're somebody who wanted the playoff to expand, great. The financial interests align very closely with your interests as a fan of college football. I think you're looking at it the wrong way, but hey, we're all entitled to our own viewpoints and the way in which we consume the greatest sport on planet Earth. So I'd say generally speaking, no, because the people that are making financial decisions are routinely not doing it with fans in mind. You know, when money was a driving factor by a number of people, whether that's USC, Fox, the Big Ten, SEC, whoever, when they, pulled teams away from the Pac-12 and the Big 12, they weren't thinking about the fans. They're thinking about the dollars. And there were a lot of dollars there. So, no, I struggle to see how they could consistently get aligned.
I'm concerned in many ways for the future of this sport, that maybe there will be a loss of fan interest. The one argument that I have heard is that if you put more college football games on TV, people are still going to watch.
Yeah,
whether
they will
expand to 16 or 18 or 20.
That's why it's not gonna. That's why it's not gonna stop. I will say this
Right.
on every show, including my own, until it happens one day, and then I will become the world's most obnoxious podcaster, saying "I told you so." They will expand the playoff one day to 24 teams because someone's going to look at the FCS football model and say, "Look, they have 24 down there. That's how many we should have up here." And on that day, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. I was at Big Ten Media Days a couple weeks ago. Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, who I think is a good guy and overall seems to do a perfectly fine job, went up there and talked about the virtue of an 8-4 team getting into the playoff. I almost threw up on my laptop. It was sickening. That was a sickening statement to hear.
By the way, Tony Petitti, his background is as a TV executive as well.
Yeah.
So that's always in the back of
Because
his mind.
he said, well, in other sports, that's a winning percentage that gets you in. Yeah, I don't want college football to be like other sports.
Exactly.
That's why it's great.
It is unique. It is a unique sport. It is a special sport. So many of these changes are negatively impacting the sport. But again, people are still watching. Ratings numbers have continued to be through the roof. So if we had to have a 16-team playoff, would the Spencer McLaughlin model be 0 automatic bids and just the 16 best teams? And you could use the conference championship as a data point, but it would not automatically guarantee a team spot in the playoff.
100%. I think all automatic bids stink. I talk about the 5+11 as being the most preferable of the 16 team. My ideal plan, very simple. 16 best and most deserving combined. I trust the committee. I know people don't like the committee, and people like Joel Klatt rail against it all the time. We got to get rid of this committee. The committee is bad. Like, everyone rails against it. I look at what the committee has done in the playoff every single year, and I think they've gotten it right every single year. Like, you may not like the idea of something, but the actual concept, the proof of practice, has been, in my view, very good. It doesn't mean I always agree with their rankings or their where they put certain teams, particularly on the back end. The last couple of years it's been Missouri. 2 years ago it was Tennessee. Like, these teams were getting ranked, and it was just blatant SEC bias in my view. But then last year, the committee told the SEC, "Nah, you don't get whatever you want." I mean, that gets overlooked a lot. Last year, the committee told the SEC, "You don't just get to get in because you're the SEC." And so, people's worry, they're just going to be, it's an SEC psyop. They're just going to do this. Like, well, wait a minute. Would you have been saying that? Probably yes, you would have, about the 5+7 format that we currently have, because last I checked, those 9-3 SEC teams were left knocking at the door, which I think is great. It retains as much urgency as possible in the regular season games. It tells you, yeah, Ole Miss, you can't lose to Kentucky. No, Alabama, you can't lose to Vanderbilt. No, South Carolina, you can't get your doors blown off by Ole Miss on your home field. You can't do those things and then go make the playoff. But one day we'll get there, sadly.
As a Penn State fan, I was nervously watching the playoff reveal show, expecting Alabama to be that 12 seed.
Yeah.
Wasn't the case.
Thankfully, it wasn't. Have you seen how scared and upset and angry the SEC fans are now?
Right.
After all that, I mean, it's astonishing. That it reeks to me of full-fledged panic mode, that they're not just viewed as, the best conference above everybody. I've been pro SEC biased my whole life because it's always been warranted. It's not warranted anymore. The last couple of years have shown us that. And if they don't make the national title game for a third straight year, we're just going to be able to continue to pile on for those of us who have said, hey, I don't think the SEC should be able to get all this ingrained bias and whatnot. And yeah, you won't be able to make that argument, because anytime that someone goes to the well on, well, what about the previous 15, 20, that is a different era of college football. This is the NIL portal era. Everybody's paying players. You can add kids via the portal. Kids leave on your roster. I'm sorry. This is clearly different. It's clearly different.
Back-to-back national champs out of the Big Ten. You look at the preseason poll this season, 2 of the top 3 teams in the coaches poll, for whatever that's worth. Both Big Ten teams, Penn State and Ohio State. Texas is the number 1 team in the coaches poll. But the SEC reign of supremacy, I'm with you, is over, at least for the time being. That does not mean that their influence is over. Big Ten and SEC, by far and away, the 2 most influential conferences.
I also want to clarify. It doesn't mean, I'm not coming on here and saying the SEC's never going to win a title again. No.
Right.
The SEC's a crap conference. No, it is not. My point is that the SEC champion never got pushed around by Notre Dame. That didn't happen. I just watched it happen. Notre Dame outcoached and outphysicaled the undisputed SEC champion that beat Texas twice, who had the best season of any SEC team in the postseason structure. Okay, you can't just say, oh, well, they had an off game. No, it's not that they lost. It's how they lost. Notre Dame could barely complete a forward pass and beat Georgia. Okay, that is different. I watched a great Notre Dame team that was predicated on physicality in 2012 go into the national title game and get their doors blown off by Alabama, the SEC champion. I watched Notre Dame go to the playoff time and again and get their brains beat in. Well, now they don't.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm one of the PAC-Hub's AI specialists. Today, I want to show you why PAC-Hub is the ultimate platform for college baseball players looking to transfer to a new college program. First, let's take a look at our extensive network of coaches. With over 150 coaches actively using our system, you have a huge pool of experts to connect with. Imagine having access to all these experienced coaches searching for talent like yours. You even have the ability to connect with any of these coaches via our internal messaging system. This means more opportunities to showcase your skills and find the perfect new team. Now let's switch gears and see things from a coach's perspective. Coaches can easily search for athletes by position or stat. Let's say I'm looking for a left-handed pitcher with good pitching stats. With just a few clicks, I can find top-performing pitchers who meet my criteria. This efficient search functionality ensures that coaches find the perfect fit for their teams and athletes get matched with opportunities that suit their strengths. PAC-Hub is all about connecting talent with opportunity. Whether you're an athlete looking to transfer to a new college team or a coach searching for the next star player, PAC-Hub has the tools you need to succeed. Don't miss out on the chance to be part of this amazing community. Join PAC-Hub today and take the next step in your baseball journey. Visit www.pac-hub.com to sign up now.
And SEC, still extremely influential. I want to dive into this topic because both conferences have their preferences. We touched on the Big Tens, which is the 4+4 +2, +2, +1, +3 to make up the 16-team playoff. Greg Sankey at SEC Media Days says that he's all for the 5+7, which is what we have now, the 5+9 if it were to go to 14 teams, or the 5+11 if it were to go to 16 teams. So for those who may not be as well versed with college football, why are the Big Ten and the SEC so influential in this discussion regarding college football playoff expansion?
Well, they've been the two best conferences. They've won the most national championships, particularly in the last decade or so. They've, pulled in typically the highest rated recruiting classes year in and year out, and that gives you a lot of talent on your roster, and that tends to lead to more NFL draft picks. And, all those narratives are perfectly fair and valid to hold and point out there. And, the postseason record, I think, is the biggest thing. The ACC has had one program other than Clemson win a national championship since 2010, maybe even earlier than that. It was Florida State. Florida State, the last year of the BCS, beat Auburn, and then Clemson's won 2, and that's it. And the Big Ten has had Ohio State. They have had Michigan, of course. They've had Ohio State again back in 2014, and then it's been the SEC. So, the reason all this kind of comes back to, in my head, how much does it matter? Does it mean a whole, does it actually change the national championship picture? No, the formula to win a national championship is the same. Recruit really well, develop your talent. Now with the portal, go out and add some high-end portal pieces that can plug potential weaknesses. Be a really good staff. Go out and execute on game days. That hasn't changed. Build the best roster you can and be a good coaching staff. That's still the formula. Well, just because you expand the playoff doesn't mean that, all of a sudden Colorado can go win a national championship. That didn't change that at all. Colorado's got a better chance of making the playoff. Whoop-de-doo. They're not any closer to winning. Think about this. Pac-12 relaunches, with 8 teams in 2026. I think that their conference champion should get the G5 playoff berth more often than not. And you know what? That's exciting to have an opportunity to go play another football game, take your shot and whatnot. Once you run into a team, once the Pac-12 champ runs into a team that's actually capable of winning a title, it's not going to be very fun. Yeah. You're going to realize, we're not winning a national championship here.
One of the things that I've always loved about college football, though, is the fact that it historically hasn't been national championship or bust. Is that still the case, or do you feel that now it is championship or bust? Anything short of that in this playoff era where you don't have the BCS Bowls the same way that it used to be, anything short of that is a failure. How do you feel about that?
Depends on the program. Alabama, Georgia, Clemson to an extent. I think I can tell you Oregon fans are very much in that mindset. Oregon just had arguably the best season in the history of its program, and doesn't feel that way because of how it ended. Yeah. Year 3 for Dan Lanning, but year 20 whatever of Oregon trying to get over the hump, win that first national championship. LSU, same thing. We know the elite tier 1 programs that are not happy with just winning games because of what it might mean in the future. It's title or bust every single year to some extent. I don't view Oregon that way specifically for this year, but I do think that there is a general expectation for some of those programs and that we've taken the shine off winning big games. I remember as a kid watching Oregon finally breaking through and winning the Rose Bowl for the first time in, I don't even remember how many years it'd been so long. And that was a big deal. But it wasn't a national championship. But now that, Oregon's gotten over that hurdle, that's the only one that's left. There are plenty of programs that certainly have that, where it's like, hey, we're winning it all, or we're not, really set. We're not fully satisfied with what's going on here. But you have to have a long track record of high level success in order to expect that.
Spencer, I think we can sit here and chat college football for the next few hours, but we'll call it a day for now. Really appreciate you hopping on today. Before we end, you want to give a quick plug to your podcast as well?
Yeah, Locked On College Football and Locked On Ducks are on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, 5 days a week, all year round, and 6 days a week throughout the season with reaction shows to the big games on Saturday, which are less than a month away. I can't wait.
Yes. I'll be tuned in all week long leading up to the September 27th clash at Beaver Stadium, Penn State, Oregon, whiteout.
In the whiteout, baby.
I'm sure we'll be in touch ahead of that game. Looking forward to chatting. But Spencer, great speaking with you. Thanks for sharing your insight and appreciate the time today.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Of course. There you have it. Spencer McLaughlin, big thanks to him for joining us and sharing his insight, his wisdom. I'm on the same page with him when it comes to the college football playoff. 12 is already too many teams. 6 was the right number, in my opinion. 16 is beyond me, but because of the reasons that we mentioned, it is inevitable, most likely, but we'll see. Big thanks to all of you for joining us. A reminder that we are powered by PAC-Hub. Take a look bottom of your screen, pac-hub.com. If you are a student athlete and you want to find that next home in the transfer portal, you want to find a way to stand out for coaches, PAC-Hub is the place. Sign up on pac-hub.com. Make an account. Your page will be populated with stats, with measurables, academic information, all sorts of ways for you to stand out, for coaches to find you. And then from coaches' perspective, same thing, right? You're missing that one piece. You want that left-handed pitcher. You want that star player, whatever sport it may be. Take a look, pac-hub.com. That is PAC-Hub, connecting athletes with opportunities. And a reminder, subscribe to our page, like and comment to our videos. I will say we're working on getting 2 enormous guests. Would be 2 amazing people to chat with, so I hope we can get them on, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks again for joining us, and we will talk to you soon.